Hello, my Teaserking family. Back with part two. So we did sports. Now we're doing economics. But if you have a sports question, we can certainly talk about it. As always, we check our gold price. Got a nice little kick just before now, and now it is at it's at 29.60 for silver, and gold's 25.11.77. Now, I don't look at this as a problem like why isn't it 2600 yet? I look at it as good. It hasn't dropped back. Well, it dropped back to 24.98 for about 10 seconds and then it quickly got bought back up. And this is when they start hitting us back on the this is when they start hitting us back on the derivatives. But we're not really going down. Anyway. So this is where we're at. So 25.11. We haven't dropped back down to 24.50 or 24.75, so it's sticking. And now we're not seeing, we saw a little bit of the US derivative at 10 o'clock from 25.05 to 24.90. So it only went down $7. We saw a 25.12 go to 24.98. Went down about $15. We're not seeing that $50 hit like we saw last week. And that's good. That means they're running out of gas, and off we go with this. Hey, Pat, how are you? Just a second. Let me see what this mess is about.
Hi, this is Jason Brooks from the Federal Relief Center. Call me at 949-703-2182. Our records show you have some back taxes due, but you...
Funny as I don't, so I don't know why I keep getting these calls. All right. So, Pat, how you doing today? Gold's doing well. So I'm curious why I'm getting that call. I don't have any. So why records? What records? So anyway, so 25.11 gold, silver 29.60. Comex is slowly breaking up. We're not getting the heavy derivative action that we've been getting, and that's a good sign. So hopefully that's breaking down. Silver is still getting fought by derivatives, so let's just be patient. I was doing my gambling one on my sports one, and there was a good point I made to myself. When you're gambling, when you're betting on football, it's all or you're betting $500, you win 500 or you lose 500. It's all or nothing. But the key about gold and silver is you're not losing anything. You buy gold at 25.11, which is going to cost you 26.11. You buy gold and it can't. Nothing happens. It doesn't. You're not gonna go. You're not gonna lose the whole amount. right? So with gold, you might lose $10. You know, it's down 153 today. You don't lose $2,500 per ounce. You lose $10, you make $10. You make $50, you lose $50. It's chunks. But the point about sports betting or blackjack or craps was you win your bet or you lose your bet. There is no in between. And that's the whole key to it. There's no other look about that. What do they say? Yeah, see, I get this spam. I'm wondering about this call, and it says potential spam. You got to be careful. Oh, you owe taxes, and then they'll want money, or give me your bank account, and it's a scam because they're not. First of all, I don't owe any, and then secondly, well, give us your credit card or give us your bank, and we'll work it out or whatever. And that's where the scams comes in. So I'm glad the phone warns me of a spam or these private numbers. So it's all bullshit. Anyway, enough of that. So what you realize is when making a bet, which is what you're doing buying gold or silver, you don't realize is you're actually making bets with the dollar. You have the dollar, you're betting on the dollar. What this is the whole point here. You don't realize you're gambling with the dollar. You don't realize that this is going to zero and you're going to lose your bet because you don't even know you made a bet, right? If I bet on football, I know I got a bet. I bet $100 on Chicago and I either win 100 or I lose 100. And in money, I don't know I'm actually betting on the dollar. I don't realize that. It's something that you don't. It's kind of hidden from you that you're betting on the dollar, right? You don't realize it. So with that, that's what's really hidden from you. The inflation's hidden from you. You're gambling and you don't know it. You got your money in the bank. You're gambling, but you don't know it. At least with blackjack, I'm betting on the hand, and I'm either going to win the hand or I'm going to lose the hand. There's no other. I'm either going to win 100 or lose 100. Gold, I'm not risking everything. Most stocks, you're not risking anything. You got, Coca-Cola. Okay, it's whatever, $50 a share. Well, I'm not going to lose all $50. It might go down $10 or it might go up 10. The biggest thing about gambling is what you don't realize is when you buy stocks, you expect them to go up. You're never betting a stock to lose. When you play blackjack, you're expecting to win the hand, but you realize you could lose it. So you're expecting to play multiple hands and win some. When you play poker or you bet football, you're expecting you're going to have some winners and you're going to have some losers, and you hope you end up winning. And the key is having a reason why you bet. Why did I play Bitcoin? Why am I betting? Buying a Rolex? Why am I betting football? Why am I betting gold and silver? Why am I in the dollar or another currency? You're actually making bets that you don't even know you're making bets. That's the beauty of it. In the casino, you made your bet. I bet on red or black on roulette. I know I made the bet. I know I'm going to win some and lose some. But it's funny how stocks, you think every time you make a bet in stocks, you're going to win, which is bullshit. And but with gold and silver, at this point, you're going to win with gold and silver. That's kind of why I push it. We with my gambling background, you can't lose with gold and silver because of the demand. This is where economics comes into betting. Based on the demand for gold from all the BRICS countries and the BRICS going with the gold-backed currency and the dollar going out, All these variables point to a higher gold and silver price. You're betting, you're gambling on it, and what you're doing is getting out of dollars, which you don't realize you're gambling, for gold, which you're gambling kind of, but you're really not. It's almost a sure thing that you're going to make money in gold and silver. And so you understand why the inflation, the money going away, and the demand for gold. And then you go, oh, that's a good bet. I think that's why I'm so high on gold, is because of my football betting and my casino betting. I understand why, and it makes perfect sense. Gold is a win-win, absolutely. Hey, Eric. Gold is doing, let's see. Gold is doing great. Thanks for telling us to start buying it. Oh, you're welcome, Eric. That's why I mean, football is different. Football is much more, we're gambling, and that's why I kind of, okay, you got to buy the picks, because that's a normal thing. But in economics, I'm not making you buy it unless you really want classes in it, like you would at a college or something, where I would actually teach you, this is economic, this is inflation, this is gold, this is brics, this is all the other stuff in the class. But just in general here, yeah. Well, I mean, I'm only telling you to do what I'm doing, right? I'm not telling you to buy gold, but I'm not buying gold. I don't. If I tell you to bet on Pittsburgh, I bet on Pittsburgh. So when I give you my games in football, I'm betting on them. When I'm giving you gold and silver, you see, I show you, I bought it myself, because I know, as I just said, it's the only way to go, and it's very safe. We understand why it doesn't go up too high because of the derivatives in comex. We also understand brics, all the central banks wanting to buy it. So we understand that. So with that, we know to buy it. And that's really the key to it, is if you understand why you get into something, why you invest, why you bet. If you understand that, then it makes sense. Now, we know in baseball and football, we're not going to win them all. We know the variables we're using are good, but you can't go 100%. But we understand that. We understand when you go play poker or blackjack, you're not winning every hand. You're gonna have your strategy, and it's gonna win, and you hope it wins more than it loses. Now, with football, yes. Baseball, I'm doing okay. Poker, I do very well. I do have losing sessions. I don't win every session, but if you get your aces cracked, you lose. With gold, I've got my gold, and I buy it, and I know that's a very 99%. We're going to make money. We're going to make a lot of money. And we know the dollar's going out, which is why we do it. We know the dollar's going out, right? Why? Because they're printing it, because the people in charge of it are printing. Okay, so we understand that. So we go make our bets. And our bets in this situation are to buy the gold and the silver. That's why we're making bets on it. And that's really the key to it. And so therefore, understanding that, why you're doing it, and then why don't we profit take? Why don't we? I bought it at 1,700. It's 25. Why am I holding it? Because I'm expecting it to go much, much higher. For the same reasons I'm buying it in the first place. The dollar is still going to be inflated to zero, and everything else is still going up. And the gold is just starting to go to brics, and everything's going up. So we know all that. And that's the whole point. So that's really where we're at, and we're seeing that. So that's the point of it. We're trying to. It's the only place to put your money now, right? So we understand that. Sorry, I'm a little with these phone calls. So we know that's the point of it, right? We know that we don't want to sell it because we feel it's going higher, right? And there's no reason for it to stop, because the derivatives are breaking up in gold, right? They're not. It only went down $5, $6 today, $10 today. It's not going down a lot. and we see that. So that's the whole point of it. We're trying to figure that out, and there's no reason to sell them. So when we bet football or poker or at the casino, we're trying to quit winners. We're trying to. I go play blackjack and I start with $500 and I get to 1,000. I leave because I go, okay, I can't keep winning. The odds are against me. I know I'm not going to win all the time, so I'll take my money and leave. And that's what I tell these Bitcoin people. You're not going to keep making money. Get out of it. But with gold, we're still going. We're not done yet. It's just starting, really. Brics is just coming on, and we know that, and then off we go. So that's really what we're trying to do with gold and silver, and we know silver hasn't even started yet. So talk about there's no reason it should go down except for we know it's price controlled by the derivatives. But how long is that going to last? Heavy demand on silver for the solar panels, and when gold gets really high and people need to get out of dollars because they're collapsing and need real money, silver is real money. So we know that hasn't even begun yet. Gold's starting to begin, but it's not really at the point yet. So that's really what we're looking at there. Let's see. So what other videos do I got? I was watching some health videos, and this woman's very good with, like this woman, castor oil, cure to cancer. I was showing you guys yesterday. So basically, she's saying there's a really healthy salt called Celtic salt, which I've got the Himalaya salt, but she said this is better. There's a lot of minerals in it, so I'm going to go check that out. Apparently, you don't drink water with your meal. You wait till after a half hour after, because your stomach is grabbing all the minerals and vitamins in the food that you're eating, the eggs and the veggies and the fruit, and the water kind of dilutes everything. So even though you just ate really healthy by eating like a 3-egg omelet, you're not really getting the benefits because you're drinking all this water or coffee, kind of diluting all the good stuff in it. So she's saying to don't just have a little sip, but you want to wait 30 minutes after, and then you want to drink. And that's really the point to it. So that's what you're trying to do is wait 30 minutes after your meal. Just, have a little sip if you get dry, but basically you don't want to be drinking a big glass of water during your meals. Who knew that? So she's saying the salt, and it's a lot like our other guy, watch your sugars and your carbs and stay with protein. And that seems to be the key to all these guys, and it's really healthy. There's something for like hair, like castor oil and coconut oil. And if I rub this on my scalp, supposedly my hair, I'm pretty good, but right on the top, it's been detracting, what she says. That'll bring it back. So I might try that. So she says a lot with castor oil, but she's got 4 or 5 videos. She's got one on vision. She said, be careful watching the computer or your phone, that you should take a 20-second break. Like if you're at work and you're on your laptop, every 20 minutes, just a 20-second break, and just kind of, there's like short term and long term. So short term, I'm looking at the computer. Long term, I'm looking at the sky or the trees or something. She says it's healthy for your eyes to do that. You can get rid of, apparently, what are the things in the eyes? The cardiacs? No, not the cardiacs, but the eye problems. You can get rid of that just with what she tells you. So she's got a lot of good videos. I highly recommend. Her channel is Eternal Health, and I believe her. I mean, some of these guys you don't believe, but I don't believe she's just trying to sell you. I believe she's actually doing it. So I'm not looking at it like that. So anyway, that's kind of other things I've been looking at. I didn't see Egon today. Let's go to my liked videos. It's a lot of her. Hair loss before and after water. BRICS just invited Palestine to the summit. Again, BRICS. So the BRICS summit, there's one in St. Pete in September, and there's one in October in Kazan, Russia. And apparently there's like 22. I'm hearing all these different things. So on 22 countries are going to join. 159 countries want to get out of 159 countries want to get out of the SWIFT system, get out of the US dollar and join BRICS, go to the gold backed system. Basically, they just want to get out of the SWIFT system and the US, who kind of controls them, who runs their elections, who does all this bad stuff. And they want to do that. So that's coming. So that's going to kill the dollar. Again, if there's no demand for the dollar, they're out. Canada's going bankrupt. The UK is going bankrupt. They're having riots, although they're trying to push the Muslims out. The Muslims are just terrorists. And so they've gone to these countries to just fuck up all these countries. You know, you go to London and it's supposed to be all London people, right? And it's a lot of Muslims now. And France and Germany, and they're all getting sick and tired of them because they're all terrorists and they're coming here. And so they're pushing them back out. So they don't want to lose their country. So they're doing that. And then you have, so we'll see, but they're all going broke because they've all printed their money. They weren't smart enough to go on the gold standard, which again, I don't understand. It's quite obvious that the gold standard is the best way to do your money, and yet they're not going on the gold standard. So this is a problem. Anyway, so we'll see what happens with that. But that's why a lot of these countries, the other countries, are going to BRICS and going to the gold-backed currency because they know that's the point of it. Because the inflation, which is money printing, not prices, because they printed their money to zero. And I show you in China and Japan and Zimbabwe and Venezuela and Greece and Sri Lanka. Yeah, so you can see all this happening now. And now the UK, they have heavy debt. And France has heavy debt. Italy and Germany, all these countries that are printing their money have heavy debt, because they keep trying to get the economy going. So they keep printing more and more debt to do it. And that's where they're at. So it becomes the need for gold and the need to get and their dollars being blown up. I mean, so that's really what's happening there. I got to get into my flow. Normally I do baseball and I get into the flow. So on my other video, I did give the baseball picks and looked at football for week 1. So we're trying to do separate videos. So it's a little bit different for me. We've talked about sound money. So again, the key to sound money, and this is why we like gold, and this is why gold's the lock, is the medium of exchange is what everybody wants. Does everybody really want this? Well, they do if everything's fine, but as this is going away, they don't. And it becomes, there's 6 keys to sound money. Gold has all 6. It's got to be portable, so you can put it in your pocket or in your bank. Scarce. Our dollar's not scarce anymore when you print 150 trillion of them, right? And most of the other countries are like that. Divisible for small exchanges. So, you can buy golf balls with them and you can buy dinners and vacations. Fungible, the same. They're replaceable. So yes, you can get more gold and silver. Accepted, and that's the key. And that's why Bitcoin doesn't work. It's got to be accepted, which means everybody I can go to the grocery store, I can go to the dinners, I can pay for it on a plane ticket. everybody will accept money, which they do now in the form of credit cards or debit cards. But probably what will happen is the credit card will then just be backed by gold instead of backed by your bank account, or you'll put gold in your bank account, whatever. That's how it'll work. But accepted means that all the stores and all the economy will take that as money, and they don't with Bitcoin. That's Bitcoin's biggest problem. And durable, gold's indestructible. Silver can be destructible, but silver is still pretty durable. Hey, Luke. How's it going today? Everything's fine. We know we need a total reform dollar. My buddy Kirk, I talked to last night, he was so pompous, said he profited 700% over the course of many years in his index funds. He can do nothing wrong. Well, nobody's arguing. I don't argue. Like when you make money in Bitcoin, I'm happy for you. I also bought the Montana card for $100. It's worth $125,000. I don't brag about it, but I do have it, and I've shown you. Like this Mahomes, I paid $50 for it. I don't know what it's worth, a couple thousand. If I get it graded 10, and he wins another Super Bowl, it'll be worth more. That's just being smart, but that doesn't mean it's the same. That everything is he going to make. I'm glad he made the money, but the variables of changing, and I was teaching that in my sports class earlier. You have to understand the variables. Are the variables the same when he made his 700% to now? Are you going to make another 700%? So that's what I tell you about Bitcoin. It's at 59,000. So if you bought it today at 59, or you could buy the Mantle card at 70, or you can buy a $60,000 Rolex, or you can buy $60,000 worth of gold. What do you think has the best chance going forward of what to buy? So he's made 700%, which is fine, but does he think it's going to repeat? Are the stocks going to, is the stock market going to go up still? I mean, I don't see how it can keep going. It's 40,000, which is just bullshit anyway. You've got the dollar collapsing. Does he not understand that? That's why we're into gold is one of the reasons is the dollar collapsing. You printed too much. We're not in the petrodollar anymore. BRICS is coming along, and there's 150 countries want to join it. Why? So with all that, you're sitting there going, well, what is the problem here? What is it that the variables aren't the same where the government's printing money into the stock market? So I'm glad he made 700%, but he's about to lose 100%, especially in an index fund. I mean, the only stocks going up now are Amazon and Apple and Microsoft and Meta for some reason. He can do nothing wrong. Okay. So he wants to keep taking these risks, which is fine, but does he understand the risk he's now taking? No. This is what's changed. It's like saying, well, I'm going to bet on, I've made a lot of money betting on Brady. So I'm going to keep betting on New England. But Brady's not there anymore. It changed. I can't keep betting New England if I don't have Brady to bet on. Or Peyton Manning or, Aaron Rodgers. I can't keep betting Green Bay because of Aaron Rodgers. He's now on the Jets. And that's what's happened. You've ruined the dollar. The dollar's gone. The petrodollar's gone. So now all this money, all these countries are going bankrupt and heavy inflation and heavy debt. I showed you China has 17 trillion in debt. We got 36 trillion in debt. Does he just ignore the 36 trillion in debt and that's all happened in the last few years? Does he just ignore it? Well, that won't bother the stocks. The inflation, which I'm sure he doesn't know what inflation is. I'm sure he thinks it's prices. Does he just ignore that? These have changed. These variables have changed. You got heavy inflation. You got high interest rates. It's not a good thing for stocks to have high interest rates because it drives the cost up. You know it, selling tennis rackets. Are you selling as many tennis rackets? No, you said that they're cutting back and they're giving you a bigger territory and taking your bonus, and there's less people working there because they can't sell as many tennis rackets if the costs go up. Just like my ribs, if my guy goes from $29 to $45 with his ribs, nobody's going to buy them. It's too expensive. So the variables are changing because of the inflation, the value of the dollar is dropping. With all that, does he think he's still going to make 700%, or does he not understand any of that? Which sounds like he doesn't. So he's like, "Oh yeah, you know, what it sounds like is, yeah, I made 700% on Tom Brady and New England, and so I'm going to keep betting New England. And good luck. I mean, Brady's not there, Belichick's not there. Do you really think you're going to make money?" Or as you know, with Pittsburgh, with the Pirates, now you got Scanes. Well, that changed the variables. You're going to win a lot more games with Scanes than before you had him. You've got massive inflation and higher interest rates. Does he think it's going to be the same? And so, yes, he's arrogant, but why was he in his what's he in his he was index funds. So does he think nothing's changed in the index? Has he been making 100% this year or whatever he makes on it? This is the key to it. Is he making that? Does he not understand the variables have changed? Which it sounds like he did. Look, if I thought we could make a lot of money in stocks, I would be saying be in stocks. But we're not going to make any money. The stock market's going to crash because all the money's coming home. And as these rich people in China and Japan and the UK and France and Germany are starting to lose money because of their inflation, they have money in the US stock market and banks and housing market. I mean, it's mostly foreigners who have money in our stock market, not US people. So because of that, you're looking at that, and that's what you're seeing is they need money, right? So let's look at the UK millionaires, right? Billionaires. All of a sudden they're going to go, shit, the dollar's in trouble. I'm going to sell my stocks, which is what I warn you. They're going to sell their stocks. They're going to take the money out of the bank and buy gold with it, more than likely. So of course the stock market's got to go down because these people need money to live on, and they have it here for safe haven. Do they think the dollar's still solid, even though the petrodollar's gone? Because Powell's saying, oh, inflation's 2-3%, which is bullshit, but okay. So this is the problem. And once we crash, they're crashed. So he's not going to protect the 700% he made. Okay, well, good luck to him. And don't call us when you go to zero and we're sitting on our gold and our silver. I doubt they understand what gold and silver are. Oh, gold doesn't move. Well, no, gold moves. It's the derivatives that are keeping them down. Can he explain gold at what, 25? It's 25.15 now. Can he explain that? How gold, you never thought it would go over $2,000 at 2,500? Can he? What's his explanation there? Gold doesn't do anything. It doesn't move. Well, fuck, it just moved $500 in a couple months. We just went from 2,400 to 2,500 in a month, and we're about to go to 3,000. Is he just ignoring that? Well, yeah, I see that, but that doesn't count. I mean, I love that. Cool man, Drew. Well, welcome to the class. Hey, I talked to you at the rec today. Oh, okay. You the guy in the parking lot I gave you to? Well, welcome here. Please feel free to watch and ask any questions or comments that you have. Are you the guy at the, yeah, you're probably, because the other guys, I think you're the only guy I talked to there. Just the lifeguards at the pool. But anyway, welcome and enjoy. And please ask questions and comments. That's why I do it live. But nice to meet you. Nice to have you here. We're in the parking lot and I'm teaching him gold. So he's getting it. Yeah, okay. So this guy, we started talking gold, and I could tell he was listening. The older people who just don't listen, who say, I got oil stocks or that, I don't waste my time. I just, like I say, I just say I'm not in stocks. So this is he's a younger kid, and he's getting it. So I'm glad he's here. Oh, again, this is live, so you can ask questions as my other students are doing. Well, Luke, I mean, that's the thing you get with your friends. They don't get it. They don't understand that the dollar's worthless, right? How can the dollar be worthless? The government's printing it. I can, well, go buy. I went and bought 2 steaks on sale today and chicken because I needed meat. It was $50. I got two. They're on sale for $9.99. I got 2 of them. I'm eating one tonight. One's in the freezer, and I got a big thing of chicken breast, which I will cook and eat over the week. And that's it. I think I got one other thing. It was $50. So the value of my dollar, my dollar's value buys far less than these should have been $5 steaks, and chicken should have been like $3. And it was $15 a steak, and I think it was $10 or $12 for the chicken. So I ended up with a $50 bill for virtually nothing. So that's the value of your dollar dropping. Lucas, gold will go to 20K. Question is, how long will that take? Well, we don't know how long. Worthless, that's for sure. Yeah, the dollar's worthless. Now, we understand it, but your buddy Kirk doesn't understand it. And from what you told me, I think he's a finance guy or a banker or something. Why, but he doesn't understand it. How do you explain Kirk what's going on? That's really the problem. How do you explain it to Kirk? The dollar's going to zero. And I bring up Rome because there's nothing stronger than the Roman Empire that everybody can relate to. How did they go out? Well, they took the gold and silver out of their coins, and the money became worthless. Oh, wait. So that's how the Roman Empire died. And that's how the French with Napoleon and the English, World War One. And now you got Germany in 1923, and they all printed too much money, and it became worthless. Zimbabwe, Venezuela, Argentina, now Canada, the UK, France, they're all worthless. China, Japan. So wait a minute, but it's happening. So I can use today's thing. So wait a minute, how can that happen? Can't they just print more money? Wouldn't the value of the money? See, what they don't understand is if you print a lot, the value of it goes down. So if you tried to print $36 trillion to pay the debt, the value of that dollars would not be 36 trillion. And that's the biggest thing I tell Bobby. So Bobby's our baseball player, and he signed a deal with the Mets, getting like $1 million a year for 35 years. And let's say it started in 2000, it'll go to 2035. I don't know. I know he signed something. And he thought, great, I'll get $1 million in 2024, 2025. What was missed by his attorney, which he should sue the guy for, the $1 million he was getting in 2000, let's say, is worth maybe $50,000 now. And when the dollar goes out, how's he going to get his $1 million when the dollar goes to zero? And now he's getting a check for $1 million that's absolutely worthless. How is that going to work? And this is the problem that the attorney didn't understand. So I don't know if he did it for taxes or whatever, or to say, well, I'll keep getting $1 million, but it was a horrible deal for him because now he's not getting $1 million, but like I said, 100,000, or the $1 million only buys $100,000 worth of stuff, where in 2000 it bought $1 million worth of stuff. And that's what he didn't understand. That's why time value of money is critical. I had an option when I worked at Canadian Club. I worked at Hiram Walker in the 90s, and I worked there 3 years, and I got a pension. And the pension was for $300 a month for the rest of my life. Now, so a few years ago, I got the option. Do you want the 300 a month or the buyout? And the buyout was 25,000. What do you think I did? I took the buyout because the time value of money, the 300 now would be worthless. I took the 25 grand, and what did I do? I bought $25,000 worth of gold. Now my gold's worth a lot more than the 25 grand, but had I taken the 300 a month, I would have had nothing. It wouldn't be worth anything, even though it would have been worth more than 25 grand. 300 a month, 3,600 a year. So in 7 years, well, about 8 years was a break even. But the value of the money in 8 years would have been like $100. But by buying the gold, I maintain my value, and it's growing, as we can see, being now 2,500 on its way. Hopefully by the end of the week, we'll see 2,600. What I'm excited about, we're not seeing the derivatives go down. So we see a 24.98 and then it shoots right back up. So we're not seeing it go down to 24.50 or 24.25 like we saw when it went 24.89 to 23.50 a couple weeks ago. And then it finally went back to 24, and then it went to 25. It's sitting around 25.10, maybe 25.05, 25.20. So we're seeing it in that range, but we're seeing it over 25. Now, when it makes its next move, 26 is not a problem. And we won't see the low 24s anymore. So that's the stair step. We keep growing. They fight it with the derivatives, and then there's too much action of too many people buying it. And all they want to do is get it under 3,000. And when it hits 3,000, they'll want to get it under 3,500 until October, when our BRICS friends and say, you know what, we got gold-backed currency, we're rolling it out. 22 more countries want to join, and then 159 want to join. We need a much higher gold price. And why do they want the U.S. controlling the gold price anyway? They don't. Now, I know the CIA goes and kills everybody, and government regime changes, like in the Ukraine. Zelensky wasn't elected in. They had some other guy elected in, and they forced him out and put in Zelensky. Was the CIA putting it in? Jenna didn't vote for this guy. This guy was a comedian. He's not a president. He's not a leader. He's just money hungry. So this is the point of your CIA doing shit like that. So I'm sure Russia, but you can't fuck with Putin. And so you just sit there and he does what he wants. And the Shanghai Gold Exchange should be the gold price. And if you want to keep the gold low here, I don't see how you can do it, because it's like buying a tennis racket, Luke. Let's say you're going to sell it for 500, but Bobby's selling it for 100. Oh, I'll go buy it from Bobby for 100. And how long is that going to last? How can Bobby buy it that cheap and sell it that cheap? He can't. So he sells a few of them, and then he runs out, and then people go to you for 5. And then Bobby says, well, this is stupid. Why should I sell them for 100 when I can get 500 for it? So if Luke's selling them for 500 and I got a tennis racket, I'm going to sell it for 500, because that's how the economy works. That's Austrian economics. That's what pricing does. So if somebody's selling computers for $500, I don't sell my computer for 100. I sell it at the price, $500. So we all agree on the price of 500. That's what I sell it for. So why would Comex sell it for 2,500 if the Shanghai and Russia and China put a $5,000 or $7,000 price tag on it? Of course you'd sell it for the higher price. So that's the whole key to it. So anyway, yeah, I mean, and I don't know what you can do with your friend, but you just gotta, as Bobby would say, shake my head. You just gotta roll your eyes and you just go, he's an idiot. He doesn't get it. There's nothing I can do. Like I do with the club, like Drew here. Well, I started talking, but I looked at him and I says, is he with me or is he against me? And I could tell he was with me. A lot of the guys at the club, they just turn off. I don't want to hear it or whatever. And then I stopped talking to him. So I kind of test it, and then I stopped talking to him because I know I'm going nowhere. And that's what you got to do with this Kirk guy. There's nothing you can do. He's going to go broke because he's too stubborn and not open-minded to listen to you. Have him come here. I'll talk to him. I'll bury the guy because I know I'm right and I'm very stoic and I can shut him down. Obviously, he doesn't understand inflation. Obviously, he doesn't understand gold and derivatives and comex. So he needs to understand all that in order to see the light, and he doesn't. And if he's making money his way on the index, why would he stop? Because he doesn't understand he's making money because the government's printing the money, putting it in the stock market. Well, I don't care. So he would have done well with Madoff. So he's in Madoff and he's making money. And we say, well, Madoff's a Ponzi scheme. Madoff, he doesn't invest the money anywhere. He just gets money from other people to give you. And he would ignore us. He'd say, no, I'm making 15% every month with Madoff, so I'm fine. And you're sitting there going, but Madoff's a Ponzi. Madoff isn't real. He doesn't invest, and it's going to end, and it's illegal. And he'll just ignore you until Madoff goes to zero and goes out and he loses everything. And then he'll realize what he's done, but he won't realize it until he's lost everything. It's the Titanic. It's the perfect Titanic. So the boat hits the iceberg and me and you walk to the lifeboat because we know the water is going to fill up the boat and the boat's going to sink. So we walk we get our gold, walk to the lifeboat and get in it. And lo and behold, everybody's, well, the Titanic can't sink. And, I'm not going to get off the boat. You guys go on the lifeboat, but what for? And then the boat sinks and sinks and sinks. And then the panic starts. Oh, shit, I need to get on the lifeboat. And that's what he's doing. That everything's hit the iceberg and all the water's coming in. Me and you are fine. We're in our gold lifeboats, but he doesn't understand it. So he's sitting there going, it can't sink. The dollar can't go anywhere. We're the reserve currency. Well, yeah, but we printed 150 trillion of it. It isn't worth anything. What the fuck are you talking about? So this is the major problem he doesn't get. And how do you make him get it? He can only get it if he wants to get it. Right? You've got to be clear that inflation is printing the money, which he doesn't get. He thinks it's prices and prices, they're 2 or 3%, so everything's fine. And me and you know, no. Inflation is printing the money, and you've printed 150 trillion. We know the real explanation for inflation. He doesn't. So he thinks everything's fine. Madoff's going to be fine. I'll make my money in Madoff. And then, so you have to convince him he's in Madoff. And how do you do that? You can try explaining inflation to him, but will he listen? You can try to explain that gold, that's paper gold, that the gold derivatives are getting the price, not the physical gold, and the BRICS countries are going to get the physical gold. And you can see why it's gone from 2000 to 25.15. But will he listen? And is it worth it for you to try to explain to this idiot? Or do you just sit there and watch him go broke and laugh at him going, well, I tried to tell you, and that's my take on it. I can only try to tell these people, like I tell you at the airport or I tell you every day, I can only explain what I do. I buy gold and silver because I know the dollar's going out. And you either listen or you don't. You do listen. So I explain and you get it. And if you don't get it, you ask questions. And that's really the key to it. That's all you can do is open their mind and see if they listen to you. Like Bobby's daughter doesn't understand why he has gold. Well, there's nothing, unless she opens her mind, there's nothing he can do except for say, well, but if we hold on to dollars, we won't be eating. We need gold and silver to eat in the future. That's how he can explain it. How is he going to go broke? 4 million net worth, owns one rental property, and most of his other home has 3 million in 401k, I think 300k in cash. Seems to me that these kinds of folks, when crash happens, will be the ones paying 15k per ounce for gold when they see the light. People are going to have to see their life savings collapse. Well, if they hold on to dollars and the dollar goes to zero, like Warren Buffett, as I say, it'll be worthless. Is he going to all of a sudden want to buy gold? What's he waiting for? It's 25 right now. Why hasn't that opened his eyes? It hits 3,000. Is that going to open his eyes? So, yes, he has a lot of money. I agree with you. So let's see. So how is he going to go broke? He's going to go broke when his money becomes worthless and his stocks crash. Okay, they may not crash to zero, but he'll lose a lot of wealth. So because he's got $4 million doesn't mean if the value of the dollar is zero, 4 million times zero is zero. That's how he'll go broke because he's too arrogant to put it. Why isn't he buying gold now? To protect his 4 million. Why isn't he protecting his 4 million? If he's as smart as you're saying, wouldn't that be the prudent point? Like Egon always says, it's wealth preservation. He's got millionaires in his gold that are in his vault that he watches and monitors. The vaults in Switzerland. These are like $5 million. You got to have $5 million in the vaults. So why are these rich guys in gold? It's wealth preservation. Because the dollar's going to zero is why he's going to lose. It won't be worth anything. 4 million net worth, 4 million of what? Cash, dollars. So he's got 4 million of these, okay? But if this goes to zero, what does he have? He has $4 million in monopoly money. That's how he goes broke. 4 million net, owns one rental property. Okay, property is going to lose value, but okay, he'll have that to live in maybe. And most of his other home has 3 million in a 401k, which is what? Which is in stocks. It's in paper. So what the point of this is that the dollar goes to zero and anything in paper goes to zero. As I've stated, the house will go to zero because when the dollar goes out, what's the value of your home? So if your value of your home is 500,000, let's say he owns $1 million home. Okay, he's got $1 million home. It's $1 million. The dollar goes to zero. What's the value of his house? Zero. Because the million goes to zero. And that's what's going to get him. And he'll be taken back to 1923 in Germany when the houses lost all their value. That's why you could buy the house. So it was probably a $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 house was going for $100. That's why you could buy it with 5 ounces of gold because gold was $20 an ounce. That's the point, that you've got to understand the dollar will not maintain its value. It's lost 99% of it. And it's losing the other 1%, and brics going gold back will take care of the other 1%. Who's going to want the dollar? Nobody. So yes, I'm happy he's in $1 million house or whatever, where he's got 300,000 in cash. Well, like I said, all my cash is in gold. Why doesn't he move his 300,000 in cash into gold? Why doesn't he protect himself? Because he doesn't understand gold. Seems to me that these kinds of folks, when crash happens, will be the ones paying 15,000 per ounce for gold when they see the light. How? Their money will be worthless. Now, if he figures it out before his money's worthless, I'm not sure you can. I think it just crashes. How much time before the dollar goes to zero? And how much time does he have to get his money out to buy gold at 15,000 ounce? You think he'll get it then? He doesn't get it now. You think all of a sudden the light turns on and he goes, oh, shit, the dollar's worthless. I better buy gold. Do you think that's what's happening? That's really what I don't understand. Most of these people aren't smart enough to understand that. So why would he pay 15,000 for gold? He won't think his dollar will be worthless. He won't understand that. That's the point that people like him don't get. Because they have $1 million, they think they're protected. Well, I got $1 million. What can happen to me? Or in Warren Buffett's case, he's got $25 billion. He figures I'm comfortable, I'm safe. What can happen to me? Well, the dollar going to zero is what can happen to you. That's the part of the equation these guys don't get. And if they understood gold, they'd understand it now. Why wouldn't he buy it at 26.50 right? He could buy it all for $26.50. Why doesn't he buy it now? Because it won't go up. Well, it just went from 2,000 to 2,500. Isn't that going up? So he won't get that. Now, is he going to be able to react and buy it at 15,000 an ounce? All of a sudden, he's going to understand to buy gold. This is where I question that. I don't think he understands gold. If he did, he'd be buying now as safety, right? Me and you buy it for safety. We know it's going to go up, and we know we want to be out of the dollar before it goes to zero. Can he react that quickly? Can he get the money? Is he going to be able to buy gold at 15,000 an ounce? And I've warned everybody about that. So our theory is, gold, silver will go 10-1 to gold. So when gold hits 10,000, silver will be 1,000 an ounce. And I'll be able to take 10 ounces of silver to go buy an ounce of gold, which is fine in theory, but will there be gold available to buy it? So that is, again, the fly in the ointment. We know how limited gold is. I don't see a whole lot of gold when I go to the gold store, except for people selling it. So gold's at 15,000 an ounce. He's got millions of dollars that are now worthless. Somehow he's got to quickly get his money, which it sounds like he can't. They're in a what do you say? They're in a trust. No, they're in a $3 million in a 401k. Okay, so I'm going to really play devil's advocate right now. People are going to have to see their life savings collapse. That'll be the big panic. Let me finish you, and then I'll get to my example. I don't think the entire system can go to worthless. Are you not paying attention to the Romans? You'd have Cold War, Civil War. Why would you have a Civil War? Nobody would have money. Maybe gold goes 25 to 3 to 5 to 45 and no sellers. Well, me and you aren't selling at 5,000. Right now, it doesn't matter because it's derivative. But once we blow up derivative in October, now, what have I told you about the stocks and the banks? You're not going to get your money out of there. So he's got all this money in the stock, Merrill Lynch or JP Morgan. Do you think they're going to give him his $1 million too? You think he can get his $3 million in his 401k out? I don't know. I don't think so. They're going to sit there and say, you know what? What's his name? Kirk? We're not going to let you have your money. The market crashed. We need the money. And they won't even let him have the money, or he'll have a portion of it. He's playing with fire. Just like I tell everybody else. So you got $1 million at Chase Manhattan. And so you go to get the money out because you see the Titanic sinking. And what do they tell you? And I show you this in China. What do I tell you? Oh, sorry, you can only withdraw 5,000. Well, I got 3 million. Yeah, but you can only withdraw 5,000 a month or 5,000 a week. And we don't have the money for you to give you. This is the part he doesn't get. This is the part you need to explain to him. Because he has the money does not mean he can get his money. He sells his stock. Sorry, we're not giving it to you because the regulations have changed, where if you're in the stock and you go to sell it, they don't have to give it to you. Yeah, I mean, you can sell our 100 shares of Coke and, get our money. But with all that kind of money, there's no way they're giving him his money. They'll give him a portion. He'll never get all his money out. So the fact he has all this money, where is it? It's on the Titanic. Sorry, sir. We don't have the money to give you. And I show you examples in China all the time. They can't get their money out of the bank. And for sure, they can't get it out of the stock market. So you might have it, but can you get it? This is the biggest warning I try to tell you. And just because he's got 3 million in his 401k does not mean when the shit hits the fan, when he finally understands he's being made off, okay, I want my money. He's not going to get it. It'll be worthless, or he'll try to buy gold. There won't be gold for him to buy. Right? Where's he going to go? You're going to go to SD Bullion? Yeah, I got $4 million that are now worthless. I'd like to buy gold. Sorry, we're not taking dollars. You waited too long. We don't have the inventory to give you. There's a lot of risk this guy's taken because he's so smart that I'm telling you, and I show you China and other places. Getting your money out of the bank is a whole different animal than having the money in the bank. And once it's inflated, it's worthless. So now what's he going to do? Well, I got $4 million. Well, no, you don't, not anymore. It's worthless. Or you can take out 5,000, or I'm going to sell my stocks. Yeah, but we're not going to give it to you. We need it because people with commercial real estate and houses who can't pay us are now, we need money for that. So we can't give you the money because so look at the housing crisis of 2008 and all these, Goldman Sachs or whoever went out. Do you think if you had money there that you were able to get your money out? I don't know. I don't keep money in the banks, but had I been Goldman Sachs or Lehman, or let's say I was in Lehman, let's say I had $1 million in Lehman, and all the shit hit the fan. You think I'm getting my $1 million out of Lehman? Look at Madoff. The people got fucked in Madoff. Madoff goes bankrupt. What does the guy do? He takes money from the people who made money to give it to the people who didn't, which is ridiculous. Why didn't they just bail out the people that lost, or just say, sorry, you lost? And the people that won, well, yeah, you bet on Ohio State and you made $1,000. I need the money back to give it to somebody who bet on Michigan. What? No, I already that I took the risk. I won. What do you mean pay it back? That's just ridiculous. I guess the same goes with house, no buyers. Exactly. Who's going to have money to buy it? Only us. People smart enough to have gold and silver will be the ones who buy it. That's why you're going to buy it with 2 ounces of gold, because they're going to want whatever money it is. And the only money that we know is going to be there is gold and silver. So you're looking at him you're looking at it today, and he's looking at it today. Well, I got $4 million. I'll be fine. Now, when the shit hits the fan with brics and the dollar collapses, which ask the Romans about this. I mean, that's why I bring all that shit up, because, that won't happen. And then I bring up 10 examples where it did happen, and you go, yeah, I guess it can happen. And it's going to happen fast, as you know, and all of a sudden having the money and getting it out and having access to it, and then using the money to buy gold. Do you think there's going to be that much? I want to buy $4 million worth of gold. Do you think there's going to be $4 million worth of gold lying around that they can give to them? SD Bullion. Yeah, I got 1,000 ounces to give you. Yeah, they don't have that much. He needs to do it now, right? Christmas is coming. You need to buy your Christmas gift now, not waiting till Christmas Eve to go buy a tennis racket, because Luke sold out of his tennis racket. Or your brother is a perfect example. I want to go to the Oregon-Ohio State game. Well, are you going to wait till the day before the game to buy the tickets? He don't have any. They're gone. It's too much. It's too hot of a game. And he made his $5,000 a ticket. Your brother's happy. And the only way he's going to go to that game, this guy, is to pay 10 grand from somebody who's willing to not go and trade in the tickets that they paid 5 grand to go to the game, because it's too late. And that's really, you really have to think fifth dimensional to understand this, because you're looking at it as today. Well, I can go to the store and buy it, and I can go to the bank and get my money out, and I can sell my stocks. Yes, but when the shit hits the fan, is this guy going to be, he doesn't even know the shit's hitting the fan. Does he understand what brics is? Does he understand? He doesn't understand gold. Does he understand derivatives? Does he understand inflation? And does he understand brics is coming out of the gold-backed currency in October? Does he understand any of those points? I guarantee you he is clueless. So how is he playing a game? Well, I do good in my index fund. Really? And how is the index fund the last 2 months? Because the only stocks that did anything were, Google and what, Google and Apple and Microsoft or whatever. They'll hog tie you. Who? I don't understand that. I talk too many ways, so I'm not sure which one you're referring to when you say that. But that's the problem. Or you mean the football game? That's the thing. You can get the gold now at 26.50, but when the shit hits okay, so put it this way: you can get to the lifeboat on the Titanic now, fine. But when the ship is 9/10 in the water and the frenzy of everybody trying to get on the lifeboat, do you think you can get on the lifeboat then? You can see the difference. So now he can calmly go and maybe take $1 million out and maybe go buy $1 million worth of gold. I don't know if you can do that. I don't know if there's that much gold to buy, but let's say he starts doing it now because it's only $26.50 an ounce. But once it hits that $10,000 or 15, when brics announces and it starts going out, you think he's just gonna, I need to sell my $4 million, and they're just gonna let him have it, and he's just gonna collect the cash, and he's just gonna find a gold dealer that just happened, like SD Bullion. Oh yeah, we just happen to have $4 million worth of gold just waiting for you. Not a problem. I know you like Andy Shackman. I don't mind him as a salesman, but I don't like him as an economist. What does he say? We can't fill the orders. There's so many people buying gold from his little store. He can't fill the orders. So what's your buddy going to do with the four? You're going to call Andy Shack. Andy, I got 4 million. I need gold. Sorry, I can't get it. I don't have it. That's the part as the frenzy starts going, as they realize the boat that can't sink is sinking. As you realize you need the lifeboat, it's too late. He's got to buy now. He's got to get out now. And what kills me is he can't lose. He's got $4 million. He can't lose, right? At worst case, what happens? He needs money. He takes the gold and buys dollars with it. Like, I can't imagine why he'd need $4 million, but okay, he's got a rental property. The house is going to be worth zero. I assume he's got a nice house. That house will be worth zero. Now, he can still live in it, but the value of the house is in dollars. It'll be worthless. But he doesn't get it. You get it because I'm telling you, you'll buy your house that'll be cheap as shit because there won't be values in dollars anymore. Oh, well, that'll never happen, Howard. Well, okay. You've seen Venezuela lately, the 650,000% inflation. The shelves are empty, and only the dictator can afford to buy stuff. You're fucking with the money supply that you can't fuck with. You can't print it. You can't have 21 trillion, a $36 trillion debt, and 130 trillion for the petrodollar that's starting to come back. The Chinese sold another 3 trillion back to the US to buy gold. You got the Japanese not wanting your T-bills. You can't sell your T-bills. Explain how this story works for this guy, because I really am missing a big chunk of this that I don't understand. How in the world your buddy keeps making 70%, 700%. He profited 700%, and he thinks that's fine. That's normal. He thinks that's normal. I made 700%, and I'm going to do another 700%. And why should I buy gold? It doesn't move. How can it be protection? Well, wait, it did move from 2,000 to 2,500. Explain that, Batman. And what does he say? Just have him explain that, and then ask him if he's an Austrian or a Keynesian, just for fun, just to pick on him. But really, what's he thinking? And this is going to be multiplied by 1 million people are going to do the same thing. They have money. They think they're safe. But the equation is you can't fuck the medium of exchange. You can't print this to zero, yet this is what's happening. And I don't have to tell you, you see there's 21 trillion printed. You see the $36 trillion debt. You see these large deficits. You see the petrodollar going away. You see bricks. So I don't even have to tell you. I can just point. I can guide you. Look, bricks. Look, this, that, and the other. And you think that's not going to have an effect. Everything's going to be business as usual. Yeah, bricks will come out with a gold-backed currency. Not that won't affect us. The $36 trillion debt, we don't have to pay it back. I mean, we'll just keep going. I mean, wow. I mean, that's just unbelievable. So I mean, I give you 10 examples, and what does this guy just ignore it all? Kirk? I mean, is Kirk just, and from what you say, he's like an executive or a big finance guy or something, and he doesn't understand any of this? Can he be this stupid? Don't let me shop with whatever bank or fund he's at, because this guy's a moron. But I honestly don't get it. I don't get what else he needs to see to realize it's he's fucked. You'll be 10 times stronger with your gold and silver than he's going to be with his fiat currency. So just amazing. See, this is the problem when they don't teach Austrian economics after me, and people, they get in love with the money and they don't think it can go away. Well, I got 4 million, I'm fine. Even you came in with, he's got 4 million, he'll be fine. He'll buy gold at 15,000 an ounce. Okay. And where's you going to get the money from? And who's going to be selling it at 15,000? So this is the problem. By the time it hits 15,000, it'll be gone. Believe me, China and Russia will be divvying it up. China buys all the gold now. He won't be able to get that much gold. Yeah, I mean, you go buy 5 ounces here and 2 ounces there and a quarter ounce here and there. We nickel dime it. That we can get. But if I wanted to buy $2 million worth of gold, my guy'd laugh at me. Yeah, well, good luck, buddy. Good, when you find it, let me know. I honestly don't know a dealer how he's going to find that much gold, and at 15,000 an ounce, I really don't know where he's going to find it. But he's got a lot of like counterfeit money, basically. So good for him. He's got monopoly money. But it's a good lesson. I'm glad you brought it up, Luke, because that's exactly what most of the people think. I got money, I'm protected, and they don't get you're fucked. Because they have it, they're fucked. I took all my money out of the bank and bought gold with it. I knew that's what was going to happen 3-4 years ago. Well, actually, probably when I got my master's in 95, I kind of knew to buy gold, and I knew to buy fixed assets. That's why I got real assets. That's why I got the Mantle card and the Montana card. I knew to buy real assets. That's why I got this in 1995. I knew to buy it. I should have bought more, but then I got divorced. I would have lost half of it anyway. So this way I got to keep the cards and watch those go up, or the Rolexes. Have them buy a Rolex. We saw $800,000 Rolex on YouTube, on eBay. Have them buy that. At least that'll hold its value. It's still in dollars, but it'll be a gold. It'll be something in gold. But yeah, you've got to fast forward from today to 6 months from now. He's broke. All his money, if he can get it out, which I doubt he can, out of the banks or the 401k. Why would he keep $4 million in a fucking what is it, a index fund? He's got $4 million in an index fund. Is this guy for real? This guy's an idiot. Why would you have $4 million in an index fund? You're not smart enough to just buy Amazon or Apple. You got to be in an index because you don't know what you're doing. I eat people like this for breakfast every day. It's just amazing. But it just shows you anybody can get rich. It's keeping it's the hard part. So anyway, we've covered many objects and many subjects in this one thing, which is good. They hog tie. You can only sell upon emergency. Read the post above hog tie. I guess the same goes with housing. No buyers. Um, well, the only buyers are going to be you with your gold. You'll be the buyer. Um, but yeah, I mean, can he sell? Can he get out of his holdings? I doubt it. And especially if it's like now Morgan's, J.P. Morgan is behind his thing, or BlackRock. You think they're going to let him get his money out? There's no fucking way. See, what I'm doing and what you're doing and what our class is doing, we're being safe. We're taking our money now. We're putting in the gold. Nobody can fuck with us. And we're just waiting patiently. Nobody knows we got it, and we go. That's what we're doing. And the key to it is we're not leaving our money. I could have left my money in the bank, but I was worried about getting it out. Are they going to let me get it out? Can I get out $10,000, $20,000? Are they going to let me get it out? That's what I was worried about. If I had 4 million, that had been gone 2 years ago. I would have got it all out. Even if I put it in my safe, I wouldn't leave it in the bank. I'm not getting interest. So he's in a 401k. He'll never get it out. So I'm glad you have it, but you're not thinking long term because it's in dollars. You got to get it out of dollars before they collapse. Oh, well, the dollar will never collapse. Canada's gone, the UK, Germany, France, China, Japan, Zimbabwe, Venezuela. Yeah, they're not collapsing either. I mean, Greece, yeah, they didn't collapse. I mean, that's the thing. Sri Lanka, they're all swimming in the guy's pool. Do you have your eyes open? Oh, we're the US, we're the reserve currency. Nothing can happen to us. Oh, really? That's why 159 countries want to join BRICS and get away from the dollar. And that's going to have no effect on the dollar when 159 countries go to the gold standard and get out of the dollar. And that's going to have no effect. Really? See, that's the problem. He's not reading what's going on, and then he doesn't understand it probably. Or, well, it won't affect us. Like China going broke and having all these people laid off, and the housing crisis and the banking crisis. You can only get 5,000 out of the bank, and the airports are empty. And that's China. That's not here. Well, no, we deal with China. Let's say I buy tennis rackets from you, and you make, I buy 5 rackets a month from you, and you make your commission on me. And then all of a sudden I say, I can't buy anymore. Doesn't that affect you? So I'm China and I'm going, sorry, Luke, I can't buy tennis rackets from you. That affects you because now you've lost 5 racket sales. That's going to hurt your commission. Well, China going belly up is not going to help the US. But they do have the gold to recover. So we will see what happens. But we don't want gold. So this will be interesting. No, it says here's the fraud. If you're still employed, you cannot withdraw any of your 401k. I guess I didn't see that post. Let's see. Where is it? Maybe the post didn't show up. Because I guess the same goes with housing. No buyers. They hog tie you. Maybe gold goes up. No sellers. I don't think the entire system can go worthless. You'll have civil war. Can only sell upon emergency. Yeah, I don't see that post. I just say, I guess the same goes with housing, no buyers. So here's the fraud. If you're still employed, you cannot withdraw any of your 401k. Yeah, well, they're not going to let you take your 401k. That's where they're going to fuck everybody. So that's my point. But if you get your money out, it doesn't matter. If you got your money in gold, not only do they not know it, but they can't fuck you. You have the gold. And we're just watching BRICS move it all up to 10 grand, 15 grand. Yeah, didn't. Yeah, okay. That's what I thought. That's odd, but it showed up now. So that's really weird. Yeah, I mean, that's the same thing with the bank. You're gonna go get the money, and like I showed you in China, they're gonna say, "Oh, you can only have $5,000 this month." They're not gonna let you take it out, and that's what people are in China. They're going, "I gotta pay my mortgage. I gotta pay my kids' college, and I gotta pay my car payment, my house payment." And then they, well, sorry, you can't get the money out. What do you think's happening here? George Soros will put the nuts to us. But how will you have a civil war? You're going to have a war against the government. But what are the government going to do? They're going to blame Putin. Not our fault that we printed the money to zero. It's Putin's fault. We had to pay for that war. We had to give Ukraine all that money so we can launder it. I mean, so we could buy them weapons so they can defend themselves, even though the war was over 2 years ago. And that's really the point of it. You've got to do what you can do now. By waiting, you're in big trouble. If you wait for the Titanic to sink, then you try to get on the lifeboat. There ain't no more lifeboats to get on, and that's what your friend's doing. He thinks he's fine now. Well, if you got all this money, okay, tell him try taking out 100 grand. See what happens. Can he get the 100 grand? And they'll take it to his bank. Can you go to your bank and get the 100 grand? Just see if you can do it, Mr. Kirk. Sell 100 grand and trade it to your bank and then get the money. I just want to see, because you got $4 million. What's 100 grand? And let's see what happens. And maybe he can do it now, although I doubt it. If it gets to his bank, the bank's going to say, well, we can only give you 10 grand. And then he explodes. Then he comes to the realization he's fucked. So right now he can still have fun thinking, I got all this money. But that's where, see, people with all the money aren't touching it. They're leaving it in there thinking it's safe. This is where they're all going to get punched in the nose. And this is where me and you are ahead of the game. We've already got the money out. We've already bought it into gold and silver. And they can't fuck us there. Nobody can take our gold and silver. Nobody can tell us it's worthless. It's already there. And, like I said, if I have to, I'll go meet Jenna in Germany and give her 20 ounces of gold, have her go sell it. She doesn't work. It's a different country. She'll be fine. So, I mean, that's my ace in the hole, but I'll go to Switzerland and cash it in, or Germany, or as we were talking with Pat yesterday, he says Singapore, you're fine. Go to Singapore, cash it in, no tax. They'll pay you a spot, and you're fine. Open up a bank there or somewhere, and off you go. But I don't even trust banks, so it's got to be gold, and then it's got to be some vault or safe or somewhere. But that's what's going to happen. But the difference is we're not blindsided. We see the train coming, the boat sinking, and we're preparing. And most people, like your buddy, doesn't see that, and he's not preparing. And when it sinks, he's then he'll panic. So just like the Titanic, as soon as it hit the iceberg, you should have been on the lifeboat, but he waited. Oh, it can't sink, and then as this ship is 3/4 in the water, people are going, oh shit, we're going to sink. So as soon as they saw that happening, it's going to sink. Yeah. Then they get it. And that's unfortunately what's going to happen to your friend. There's no way it's not happening, because the only way you can save the dollar from the 36 trillion in debt is to back it by gold, because you can't print $36 trillion. It won't do any good, because it won't be worth the 36 trillion. And therefore you can't pay off the debt by printing the money. You can't inflate away the debt. The inflation makes the dollar go to zero. So there's no such thing. These Keynesians can do these fancy things. We'll just inflate away the debt. How can you inflate away the debt? So we're going to print the money to zero, and then the debt will be worth zero. Is that the plan? How does the debt go to zero? The debt goes from 36 to 40 to 50. It doesn't go away. You still owe the Chinese and the Japanese and the Hong Kong and the Germans and the French. You still owe them for your T-bills that you owe them. That doesn't go away. So really, really confusing what uh, these people are doing. They're not doing anything about it, and they're not buying gold. At least they're not making it aware. And if Kamala Harris gets in, I'll move to whatever country I can get to because I don't want to stay here if she's running this. But the problem I have with the election is, will it be real? Trump won the other one by a mile, and it was fixed. Is this one not going to? Is George Soros not going to fix this one? Are you kidding me? That's the problem I have. They probably want this was probably planned that Kamala Harris. What did you say? Well, Biden has to stay because we don't want Kamala Harris. Now she gets in on a bullshit technicality where he steps down, even though he's still president. We don't know how. And then she got in without being like not going through the nomination. She didn't get nominated, and she's an idiot. And yet, I don't know what the polls, they're not real anyway, but they could put in Mickey Mouse if they wanted, against Trump, and Trump would have all the votes, and Mickey Mouse would somehow at the last minute get 100 million votes and win because George Soros has got the thing going. So it's a very sad thing here. I don't know. She's a communist. She wants price controls. I mean, total communism. Do we want total communism, a dictator and the authoritarian state, which has never worked anywhere, in a fucking U.S., which is a free market country? I can see the gun control coming, and I can see the whole price controls and all that shit, and then you end up with nothing because nobody can make anything because they can't sell it. They can't make it cheaper than they can sell it for, so nobody makes any products. These guys live in a fairy tale. Luke, I think they could pay off the debt only with the revaluation of gold, maybe to 25K overnight, provided they have gold. They, the 401k investors, can't do anything wrong. All they seen is up, up, up over the past 40 years. I don't know about the past 40 years. Like, I think it went down in 2000 and 2008. I think the market crashed in 2008. But if you don't understand anything and you've got your money in the index fund and it keeps going up and you don't know why, I guarantee he doesn't know why it's going up, then of course you're going, well, this is great. It just keeps going up and up and up. It's like what I told you with Bitcoin. Take your profit. You don't know why it's going up because you can't explain it because nobody can. But I'm glad you came in at whatever, $1,000 and it went up to 60 and you sold it. I'm glad for you. But you got to get out and take your money and secure it in gold, or you're going to get fucked because when Bitcoin goes to zero, all your profit goes away. And that's the worst feeling. If you're playing blackjack and you're up $5,000 and then you lose it back, there's no worse feeling than losing the $5,000 versus getting up to $5,000 and losing it and back to zero. There's no worse feeling because you were up $5,000 but you didn't take it. Believe me, you're much better off taking the $5,000, even playing $1,000 out. Okay, I'll walk away up $4,000, and that's fine. You made money, but if you lose it all back, there's no worse feeling because you had it. So you were smart. You got out of the Bitcoin. Now you're going to double because you're going to make it in gold. Perfect. That's exactly what you should have done. But these guys don't understand why it's going up. They don't realize it's government price fix. Maybe he does. Maybe he realizes the government keeps putting money in and they're going to continue to put money in. So I'm fine. I'm going to make a fortune until they don't. And then when it drops, it's going to drop like lead and he's going to lose all his money. And then we'll have a talk. Take your profit. Oh, wait, you can't. What are you talking about, Luke? Take your profit, or wait, you can't. You're starting to sound like Bobby. I can't follow you sometimes. Oh, you're saying that when take your profit, but the profit's gone and it's gone to zero, so you there's no profit to take. Is that kind of what you're saying? But you got to take your profit when there's profit to be taken. Yeah. Um, so exactly. You got to be smart enough to take that. Why are you gambling? You're gambling with Bitcoin and now you're in gold and silver. He's gambling with stocks, but does he realize it? And does he realize it's a fixed game that's about to Madoff and blow up, or does he not? Everybody in Madoff thought it would never end. And when it finally did end, then that was it. Take your profit in the four. Oh, exactly. If he can, right? Exactly. He should at least take $1 million out and buy gold with the million, and then you're at least you're protected for the million, right? And then play the other three because that'll just keep going up and up and up, and it'll never come down because we know that investment it only goes one way. Kansas City wins every football game. We know Mahomes never loses. Oh wait, he does lose a few games. And well, exactly. That's what gambling is. Gambling's about when you win, you take your profit because you know you're going to lose. There's no such thing as it only wins, right? It does lose. Even in the gold, we see it go to 29, and then it goes back to 24.98, and then it goes back at 25.15. We see it ebb and flow. It'll do less when it breaks comex and the brics come out, but it'll probably still ebb and flow a little bit. But that's a different animal. Gold is not, nobody's selling it to lower the price. Bitcoin, you see it all the time at 70,000, then it goes to 60 and 58, and then it goes to 60 and 58. Why is it moving? Is anybody selling their Bitcoin? Is it going up because people are buying Bitcoin? But why does it go up to 60 and then back down to 59? Oh, wait, somebody bought it and then somebody sold it? Or is it all BlackRock controlling it? But yeah, I mean, see, this is the problem. 700%. That's bullshit. But okay, great. Now what? Is it going to go up another 700%? Is that your best? I always talk about what do you do now, right? So you put your money in a stock, went from 10 grand to 20 grand. Now, is it best to keep the money in that stock or sell it and go to a different stock? Usually it's made its run and now it's kind of going nowhere. And then you sell it and then you go to a different stock that's low that is going to make its move up. Well, that's gold. It's ready to make its move up. But the Bitcoin or this 401k has taken it's got its run, but he thinks it's just going to keep running. So maybe he thinks the government just puts the money in and it's going to keep doing it. And there's no signs the government is not going to keep throwing the money in, making it go up. Maybe he thinks that. He's wrong, but maybe he thinks that. I mean, we don't know. But I mean, that's how you gamble. You go to Vegas, you play poker, you bet football, you take your profit. You make your bet, and if it wins, you take your profit. You don't keep playing until you lose. That's not smart gambling, although that's what a lot of people do in Vegas, right? That's why Vegas has got the big hotels. People will get up, they'll make $1,000 in blackjack or hit a slot machine, and they keep playing till they lose it back. That's why Vegas is so rich, because they will lose. People will end up losing it back, and that's the problem with it. That's what I just talked about in my football class, that we get hot, we make some money, we add it to the bankroll because next week we can lose. And then so we lose 100, and we win 300, and and you're maintaining, and that goes to the bankroll. And then as the bankroll grows, you bet more. This is a little different animal because this is not all or nothing. So you bet a football game, it's all or nothing. You bet on the Steelers, you either win 100 or you lose 100, right? There's no thing. Here in the stocks, you're not going to lose the whole thing, but you're going to not necessarily make 700%, which, okay, wonderful. What are you going to do with it now? Just keep going until it goes to 50? Is there never a sell point? You're just going to keep with this index fund and you're never going to sell it, and it's going to keep going up. And then you're going to tell them, I got some oceanfront property in Detroit to sell you, because you're out of your fucking mind. Good luck, but it can't happen. I mean, it's going to drop. So that's about all you can do with the guy is just, and then you can't get frustrated. And we know he's a dumb shit, but he's going to go broke. And that's your revenge. It's like Pat was saying the other day, well, I don't know to laugh or cry. Well, right now you're going to laugh at him when he does it because he's stupid. He could take $1 million and buy gold and be protected. And gold ain't going down. It's like our friend in Canada who he sold his $400,000 house, took the 400 and bought a $700,000 house in Canada recently. He could have bought $400,000 worth of gold, and he bought a house. Yeah, when I stop laughing, I mean it's sad that he's going to go broke when he could have been retired with $400,000 in gold. He's out of his mind. Even if the house goes, he can't sell the house because there's no buyers for the house, right? That's the problem in Canada. People are buying houses as investments. So what you going to do, rent? But this is where he lives. He can't sell it. And it's Canadian money, which is worse inflation than ours. The Canadian dollar is worthless, just like our dollar is worthless. So our Canadian friend's going to be holding a house in Canadian dollars worth nothing when he could have had gold, and gold's universal. An ounce of Canadian gold, I have Maple Leafs, is the same in every country. It's priced in dollars, but an ounce is an ounce is an ounce. Yeah, 400,000, and he had the money, $400,000 worth of gold. Well, Canadian, so it would have been like 320 or whatever, but people just don't get it. But the struggle is they don't want to get it, or they don't know, or they're not smart enough to get it, even though I'm here to help, and that's my point. And then they're still don't get it. Tell them about me, Luke. Tell them to come on, talk to the professor, and I'll straighten his ass out if he's willing to learn. But I don't know if he's willing to learn. He probably won't because he won't come on. But he's going to lose all his money, and we're just going to laugh. Luke, they say there is a housing shortage, which is what's keeping the housing prices up. No, I don't think there's a housing. The housing prices are up a lot because of the interest rates. There's two pieces, right? There's the house is worth 300 grand, and then if you want to get a mortgage, it's 10% for the mortgage of your house, which then makes it very expensive to buy, which most people can't. Where's the market? There should be a market where if I can't sell it for 500, I lower the price if I want to sell it to 400 or 300. This is a lot of BlackRock and a lot of banks buying the house as an investment because they won't go into gold. Maybe they think real estate will protect them from the dollar going down, because people think, well, I'll buy a house that'll protect me from the inflation, which we know it won't. So I'm not really sure what he's talking about with that. I mean, it makes very little sense, but I don't think there's a shortage in houses. It might be with, well, all the 50 million people that came across the border don't have money to buy a house anyway. The rich people have the house. I don't know that there's a shortage. Maybe in certain things. I know Florida's having a big problem. A lot of people are forced to move out or something. I was watching that yesterday. But normally in a free market, the builders would build more houses then, right? So you're a builder and there's a shortage, and you got all these people that want a house for 400 grand, and you're a builder and you can make all this money. You would build houses. That's the point of the business of the economy. Somebody wants it, Say's law. I want a house. I'm a builder. I'll build you a house. I'll make 100 grand on building the house, and everybody's happy. So that doesn't make sense. That you can't have shortages like that in the U.S. in a free market, unless the cost of making the house is higher than selling the house, because the lumber is expensive or the men are expensive. You can't get a plumber or an electrician. This part I don't know enough to comment on, but That's the whole point of builders. They should be building the house because people need a house. And if they can afford it, then I want to build it. I'll make money. That's how the system works. It's like you selling tennis rackets. You can't say, well, there's not enough people, the tennis rackets are too expensive. Nobody can buy them. Well, then you lower your price, right? If you're selling them $500 a racket and nobody's buying them, what do? You lower your price to hit the market, and then you sell them because it doesn't do you any good to have the racket and not sell it. So let's see, what are you saying? Which is what's kept. So let's say it's a tennis racket shortage. So people want tennis rackets. You're not going to call your front office, your home office, say, hey, we need another 100 rackets. Of course you would, because that's the whole point. You want to fill the demand if there's demand there. So that doesn't make sense. There'd be a housing shortage unless for some reason the builders can't build them. But that doesn't make sense. I just heard that like BlackRock's buying these houses, which is and then selling them very high, and people can't afford them. That's what I heard, but I don't know. Again, I'm not looking to buy a house, and when I do, I'm going to buy it with gold somewhere in Russia or Serbia or somewhere. But that's what the market's supposed to do. That's what supply and demand is. If there's demand, you supply it. You make the red shirt or the phone or the computer or the house because there's demand for it, and you can make money, which is the whole point of business. If Canadian Club, why does Canadian Club make this? Because obviously people wanted to buy it and drink it. And as long as people are drinking it, they're going to make it. As long as they can make money at it. So as long as it costs them 30 and they can sell it for 50, they're going to make it because there's demand for it. People want it and are willing to pay for it. If you do the price fixing and say, well, you can't cover your costs, they'll stop making it. And that's the problem with communism. If you do price fixing, that's the problem. People won't make it because they can't make money on it, and then they stop making it. They're saying, well, it's not worth it. I can't make money. Then what's the point? Nobody does anything for charity. So if I can make it for 30, sell it for 50, I'll make it. But if I make it for 30 and I can't sell it for 50, I can only sell it for 25, game over. So I don't know if that's what's going on in housing. It does seem strange in Canada that the mortgages are very expensive, but if there's no buyers, you would think you would lower the price, right? If I'm at 500 grand and nobody can buy it, I got to go down to 400 unless I don't want to sell it, which again, I don't know what that is. So very confusing. So we will see, but yeah, normally shortages, there aren't any because unless they can't get lumber, they would just make houses and make money on it. Like Coca-Cola, tennis rackets, skis, golf clubs, whatever. You got a demand, they will make. When Tiger Woods came out and everybody wanted to play golf, they made more golf clubs and they charged more and they sold them. Now he's not playing. Maybe he can't do it. Lucas, he just texted this. Why can't I take profit? I'm talking about things outside of 401k in my E-Trade account. As for 401k, playing the long game there, that's the best ever. No taxes whatsoever. What does it mean, no taxes? When he realizes the gain, he's got to pay taxes? No. Why can't I take profit? You can take profit. Talking about things outside of 401k in my E-Trade account. As for 401k, playing the long game there, that's the best ever. No taxes. What he just said makes no sense. What does it mean, no taxes? So he goes to sell. He's going to have capital gains for making money. If he leaves it in and it goes to zero, then yeah, no taxes, but no profit. Income, dividends, capital gains, and get 7% match. I'm so far in the green with that, can never lose. Even with that, I can sell everything in there and more to cash or take everything out. Oh, is he sure he can take it out? and I pay a 10% if I want to, doing that through long game. Well, what does he do when the dollar collapses and they're all worthless? Um, and he thinks the stock market's just going to keep going up and up and up. Um, Let me read this in. Why can't I take profit? He can take profit. No, that's what we're telling him to do. I'm talking about things outside of 401k in my E-Trade account. What has he got outside of stocks? As for 401k playing the long game there, that's the best ever, no taxes whatsoever until you sell it, until it goes worthless. This is the point of the exercises is when the dollar goes out and the stock market goes out and you can't get the money out of your E-Trade. Then what are you going to do? Income, dividends, capital gains, and get 7% match. I'm so far in the green with that, can never lose. Oh, can never lose. And ask him when the dollar goes to zero, how much does he make then? Even with that, I can sell everything in there. Can you? And get it out? Can you? And move to cash or take everything out? And how are you going to get the cash? And then what are you going to do? Can you get the cash out of your bank? And pay a 10% penalty if I want. I'm doing that through the long game. So does he know what BRICS is? Does he know what gold is? Does he know what inflation is? It doesn't sound like it. So he's living in this world where he's getting the money. He's so far ahead. Oh, is he? But you don't want to take profit on your so far ahead. Clearly, he doesn't understand. Um, have him define inflation and does he understand BRICS? And does he understand the 36 trillion in debt and the dollar's going to zero? Does he understand any of those concepts? Because it doesn't seem like he does. He's living today, but he doesn't look to the icebergs hit the Titanic, but he doesn't see the water coming in and it's going to sink. He's going, well, I can always get off the boat. I mean, yeah, I know the icebergs hit it, but I can get off the boat anytime. Really? When it's at the bottom of the ocean, and how are you going to get off the boat? I'll get on a lifeboat. There won't be any lifeboats. Okay. He doesn't get what's going to happen or what's about to happen, unfortunately. And let's see what our gold's up to. 2514. Does he understand 2514 or does he not? Does he understand his dollar has no value? I think he's seriously missing that. Anyway, this is the problem when you don't understand economics. So he's falling in and he's making money and he thinks, what does he say? I'm so far in the green. What with that can never lose? He can't lose. Even if the dollar goes to zero, he's gonna wait, but the dollar will have no value. His whole portfolio will go to zero. Oh, that can't happen. See, this is the basic premise he misses. Doesn't understand inflation, BRICS, gold, any of that. So he's living in this world of, well, look what I'm doing. Why would I get out? I guess. Why can't I take profit? Take profit, but soon you won't be able to take profit. You won't be able to get your money out. And if you can and move it to a bank, you won't be able to get your money out there. And when your money goes to zero, how are you going to buy gold if nobody has gold for you to buy if you can get your money out? But he doesn't think, he thinks it'll be no problem. Oh, the banks, they won't collapse. I'll be able to get my money out. They won't bail in me. Okay. How does he assume no taxes whatsoever? Because he keeps the money in the account. So and the money's just going to keep growing and he'll never sell. I mean, how's he going to get his money out? He's got to take his money at some point, right? He's going to pay taxes then. So he's got no taxes now because no capital gains. Is that what he's saying? Wish him luck when it goes to zero, which he has no comprehension that that's what's going to happen to him. That's okay. Seems like a winner. He's got it. He's got it cracked. Yeah, the dollar will not go to zero. That's the biggest thing he's missing. Okay. So again, we understand in economics. Well, I mean, ask him about inflation. Do you understand what inflation is? Do you realize the value of the dollar is going to zero? I'd love to hear that answer. Oh, it can't. We're the reserve currency. Okay, keep your head in the sand. But this is what you're fighting against, Luke. You got a guy who has got a lot of money, but he doesn't know he won't have it long and he can't keep it. He's missing the whole point of economics, right? So I'm glad he's got a lot of money, but he won't hold on to it. You're welcome, Luke. Have a nice night. I assume we're friends. I was confused by your comment yesterday. I think we're friends. Laugh out loud. And I thought about it going, yeah, I think we're friends. Don't you think we're friends? And I was like a little confused by that, but I consider you a friend. So yeah, I was a little surprised there. Oh, he understands everything. Yeah, sounds like it. Yeah, he's prepared. He's prepared for the dollar going out. And we got to prepare for Capital Grill and a pirate game. He's the cheapest man you know. Well, because he knows everything. So you guys yell at me because I help the girls out, and I'm not going to let them starve to death. So yeah, I do help them out. But yeah. Okay, Luke. I thought so. I thought we've always been friends, and then when you said laugh out loud, that's the problem with texting. Jenna said something to me and she said no, but she didn't say what she said no to. And I'm going, why are you saying no? What are you saying? I said, we'll go on a vacation in October. And was you saying no to that or what? Well, I thought it was a joke, but it was like, that's the problem with texting. You sometimes read into it as I do and you don't get it. But I always thought we were friends. Though we were friends when we met at the airport. It was nice to meet you. So anyway, that's good. So enjoy. This is my second 2-hour shift. So I don't know. I'm going 4 hours instead of 3 with these 2 classes, but we'll see. Anyway, so I think that's about it. So gold 25.15, silver 29 and change. Silver will hit 32 and do a little dance back to 29. Don't worry about it. When gold goes too high, the silver will go up. It's when the gold gets so like here, our guy will end up buying silver because it's the only thing he'll be able to buy. But there's not a lot of this shit out there. And when the time comes, you'll be lucky to find it. And especially you've got Saudi Arabia and India needing the silver for the solar panels. This guy needs silver. How much silver does he think is going to be out there? He'll be buying 20 ounces with this $4 million. That's now nothing because it's backed in dollars. Anyway, people got to understand inflation and $36 trillion debts. They don't get it. And brics, they don't get it. All you can do is try, Luke. And I really wouldn't try too hard with this guy. I would just say, yeah, you're right. Enjoy your money before it goes to zero. And like the guy told me, he says, well, I'll see you in the soup line. And I says, no, I'm not in stocks. I won't be in the soup line. I got gold. You'll be in the soup line. I won't be in the soup line. And the look on his face was well worth it. Yeah, sure. Well, we'll get a time and maybe against Cincinnati or Baltimore would be a good game to go to. Your brother can get us the tickets, of course, or we'll go to a Ohio State game. Stay at Renaissance downtown. Capitol Grill and Game. Okay, I know where to stay. Yeah, let's plan that. I'm meeting Jenna in October somewhere, maybe Spain, maybe Greece, and then I'll be waiting to meet Daria sometime, and we'll see. But anyway, I'm going to go have some dinner. I hope you enjoyed class. Questions, comments, please feel free. If not, www.teaserking.com. You get my email if you need to email me. Football games posted for this weekend, the college. And then next weekend, all the college. And then the weekend after, all the pros. And then we get rolling. So again, I'm not Bernie Madoff. I can't go 100%, but I can get close to it. So understand that. Understand we're taking a risk, but it's a good risk. You can see how I do in baseball. So anyway, have a nice night. Take care. www.teaserking.com. All right. Have a good night, everybody.